we are the Semitic people, when we are the same people that who they want to be, that's our birthright.
Welcome to Late Breakfast. I'm Taurian B. We gotta do it over because he's still on mute.
I'm on mute.
Welcome to Late Breakfast. I'm Taurian B.
And I'm First Class Regg.
Welcome back another week, y'all. Nick Cannon had made headlines 2 weeks ago, roughly. On his show, Cannon's Class, he invited Professor Griff, former member of iconic rap group Public Enemy. And in their conversation, Professor Griff is known as a anti-Semitic, and they were talking about just Black ownership. And in what Nick was talking about, he basically made anti-Semitic remarks. And a whirlwind of bad press came his way. He lost his deal with Viacom for the show that he created, Wild 'N Out. And basically, he said himself that he was told by a lot of people in power that he was going to be made an example of, that this can't fly, that this can't happen, because a lot of Jewish people experience racism all over the world. And anytime things like this are said, it kind of riles a certain group of people up. So within that, Nick apologized, and then Nick apologizing, a lot of people in the Black community felt like he was being a sellout and that he was being weak and that he was succumbing to the man. So then he put out suicidal tweets, but I guess, he has a strong support system, thank God, and he was able to bounce back. And he reached out to Rabbi Abraham Cooper, and had him as a guest on his podcast, Cannon's Class. And they had a healthy conversation where Nick just spoke about, what he was trying to convey and get across. Because, Nick is always learning. Nick is from he's from the church. He was raised in a Christian church. And as he's gotten older, he's gained more experience. He's well-traveled. And I just wanted to talk about this today with Nick. I don't think he's deserving of the backlash that he's getting for apologizing, because I think he hurt a community. Grant, whether people feel like it's the right thing or not, right? It could be true to you, but still at the same time, there's other ways you convey it, especially with Nick, who I know for a fact has Jewish friends. He admitted that he has a Jewish partner. So he might have not felt at the time that he was being harmful or divisive to the Jewish community. But at the same time, there's things that you go about it, because look, he's apologizing now. So do you guys think that Nick could have handled it differently? Do you think that Nick did the right thing? I want to know what you guys' thoughts are on that.
I think he definitely could have handled it differently. As it was going on, I was kind of tuned out from social media at that time. But so I told myself I would wait till everything is till it boils over to get a full outlook on it. So I saw Dwayne Wade. He took support for him. He was he sent out a tweet when it first happened where he said, he was like, hey, we with you, we support you, or something like that, just off rip, because it was a reactionary thing where it was yo, Nick just lost his job. It's a Black man. I'm there for him. But then he deleted it. And then he spoke about it on, I want to say it was ESPN. I forget what channel it was, but he did speak on it, and he was like, yo, we're in this cancel culture, way right now of ourselves where we don't allow or give people the chance to learn something. Now, I do agree with that, but I'm also really big on not speaking so passionately about topics that you don't know. So Nick did say that he needed to be educated on this. But the problem was he spoke so vividly and with so much confidence on what he was speaking about, that he passed it off as facts, and it wasn't, and it was just a teaching moment. And we have a lot of those. I feel like now people don't allow themselves to learn. I do like that he spoke with Rabbi Cooper, because it did open him up to knowledge and to different facts that he wasn't privy to. Now, the Viacom firing him thing, I thought was kind of extreme because it happened like that. Like, Nick has been, granted, I don't watch Wildin' Out. Wildin' Out has been around for what, the better part of 15 years now, just about. So it's kind of a mainstay over there, and they have their audience. And I think him popping off the way that he did shocked a lot of people. And I think it was just a reactionary, like, I never feel like when companies fire these people, it's for the righteous good. I feel like they do it to get ahead of a curve. They do it to get ahead of the audience feeling a way, or the audience, you know, just feeling attacked in any way. And I feel like that's what happened here. I think Nick has proven himself as, like, he was kind of like grooming himself to be like the next Will Smith when he first was starting out, like being that harmless black guy that everybody really liked. And I think this was one I don't think Nick has had any missteps, and correct me if I'm wrong. But I think this was just a teaching moment. And I like that he did embrace that and took it on his podcast to talk about it. Because like I said, this cancel culture thing is, you know, it's give or take.
So here's what I want to say about Nick and honestly religion. In religion and in whatever your beliefs, you're taught a lot. And whoever is teaching you, you hold their word for face value. So what Nick was speaking on was a lot of things that he was taught by someone who he held to a high regard. So when certain people speak, you automatically trust that they're speaking from a place of validation and actual research. So when somebody teaches you something, you take it on like, yo, this is accurate because this is my teachings. And
a lot of his teachings from a lot of those things came from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Which thank you for saying. I chose to leave that out.
Yeah.
But
well, that's important here, though, just before you go on, because he has been accused of anti-Semitism in the past. So,
right.
You know.
Right, but but what we've all seen, especially in this situation, is that when it comes to religion and when it comes to being taught one thing, what you say and who you say attached to it is really sensitive. That's why I kind of left the Farrakhan thing out, because then you might get, you know, the people that follow him and their joint beliefs upset. So what one of the most important things to do when following a faith and following a religion is, outside of your teaching, to also take the time to learn on your own. So if I'm Christian, if my bishop teaches me something in the New Testament or the Old Testament, it's up to me to actually open up my Bible to see if what he said is right or if I agree with it, you know? So sometimes when we are being taught something in a religious aspect, we can then take whoever's teaching it, depending on the regard that it is, and speak as if we did our own research. And I think that's what Nick did. Nick was just a student who spoke in a manner as if he knew what he was speaking about without offending. So in a sense, there's a Bible verse that says, forgive them for they don't know what they did. So that's why I don't look at Nick as a person who sold out. You offended somebody, it's okay to apologize and correct it. There is no selling out in that. Matter of fact, you're more of a man for doing that, because I would look at Nick as if he is foolish, if he has the understanding like, yo, I offended, but now I'm going to stand on my square. For what? That's dumb. You know you did wrong, apologize. And he took it to another level. He sat with a man that he could actually learn from and understand. And that's another thing that's also something that the thin line in religion, we don't take the time to learn other people's religion and see where they're coming from or see what they're taught. because you might have a better understanding of the next man across from you if you know his practices and his beliefs. And then you'll know, okay, that's offensive. Because where we from, or where I'm from, I was taught, yo, the Jews got all the money. The Jews run the shit. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. 15 minutes away from me is Crown Heights. Them niggas run that shit. You know what I'm saying? They got their own hospitals. They got their own police. We actually saw it in COVID that they bullied the cops and told them get out of here because their rabbi passed away from, ironically, COVID. So they do their own thing. So in our mindset, they got all the money. Even Jay-Z got in trouble for saying, oh, the Jews got all the money. You know what I'm saying? It's this mindset that we were brought up that, yo, Jews are just wealthy. And Jews got, you know, reparations, or they're still getting paid. And here we are as African Americans, and that's laughable if we think we're gonna get that eventually at some point. So there's a little disgruntledness between two people who have been oppressed, where we should be coming together, learning together, you know, and trying to gain the knowledge that they got at the same time where they can learn from us. So I don't think Nick was wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I think he's wrong in the sense of, you know, not doing his own due diligence, right? Cool. But he improved as a man by doing that. So I think anybody saying he's a sellout is looking at it from a perspective of, oh, you're now against us. Nah, that's not the case. He's just more knowledgeable of what he said, and he could probably still say those exact things, but just word it differently, you know? Because sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you said it. And he spoke from a person that he knew what he was saying was 1,000% true. Then he comes to find out it's not. And that's okay. That's all the learning experience. That's what life is sometimes about, you know?
I also think the problem was that who he was speaking with. He was speaking with Professor Griff, who always has, you know, spoken out against the Jewish community. And it's the reason why he was kicked out of Public Enemy for, you know, things that he had to say that he still says to this day. So the thing that, of all this that really was eye-opening is that, you know, and it showed the strength of the Jewish community, and it kind of made me like envious. Like somebody said something about the Jewish community, immediately axed out, right? When someone says something offensive to the Black community, let's take the dude, the white guy that used to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. He got to keep his job and he got a brand new contract. And he said he was sorry, and Michael Vick said he's a cool guy, and then that made everything all right. Not saying like it's anybody's fault. And, you know, people, you know, took time to like talk to him and listen and everything like that. But, you know, he pretty much just got away with saying like he'll fight any one of these niggas at a country concert. And I think that was the thing that kind of made me like, damn, like I wish that when someone spoke out against Black people like this, that they can get all this backlash and everything like that. Like with Deshaun Jackson, he was dead wrong for sharing a fake quote by Hitler to try to get a point across that he got across very incorrectly. He had to go to multiple concentration camps. He had to speak with so many people from the Jewish community, but with the Black community, when these things are done, we're sensitive, we're you know, we're overreacting. It wasn't meant that way, or get over it.
It happened 400 years ago. It happened 2 years ago.
Right. So
why are you still mad about this?
Yeah. So for me, I saw that, and then also I didn't like the fact that he lost his, you know, he was relieved of his job with Viacom. So like, you know, everything that like he did at Nickelodeon, at MTV, he was, to me, in my eyes, he had the only show on MTV. Everything else is a rerun of something else. It's not.
Can I interject though? Because I heard that before they clipped him, they asked him to publicly apologize, and he refused.
I mean, he still apologized. So
yeah, after the fact, after he got clipped.
Right.
Okay, so that changes some things, because if they asked him to apologize and he said no, that's a big deal.
And then he still apologized after, regardless of the.
Him apologizing after would be from seeing the backlash.
I don't. Here's my thing. I think him apologizing may be a genuine apology, and him also telling the fucking thing like, "Yo, fuck you if you're not standing by me."
But no,
Because I think it could be both. I think it could be both. I think it could be both. As a man, is like no, and as him knowing the what he brings to Viacom in general. Because let's be honest, he brings a lot of fucking money to Viacom and all their different entities and all the different shows he has his hands in. So for him to still say "fuck you" and still apologize after, I don't think takes away from the part of he realizes he's wrong, but at the same time, fuck these white people at this company telling me I have to apologize. I'll apologize.
Yeah, but they're Jewish though, bro.
I get that. Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I was about.
But here's
that's
my
what
thing.
I was about to say. That's the problem in and of itself. Like, I don't want to be that guy, but I guess I'm going to be that fucking guy. When it comes to a lot of things in our culture, and that's not just Black culture, music culture. As a culture, there are stereotypes. There has always been a stereotype when it comes to the Jewish community that they are a very tight-knit, very organized, wealthy community. Unfortunately, even throughout history, I've heard, even in barbershops. The problem is, like me and my friend was talking, Nick Cannon went to barbershop in a public place. Like I've heard niggas say wild shit about Jewish people and be like, yo, that's wrong, but I understand the sentiment of why you're angry. Because there is a part of the Black community that feel disenfranchised when we look at the Jewish community. We feel like, yo, how the fuck did y'all really just come through, get Brooklyn, get some hospitals, and really just get cool hats and keep it moving? Like, it really does look like that to some people. So, I mean, I understand where Nick Cannon was coming from in that frustration, and I think it's a bigger conversation where we have to be organized as a community and speak in our numbers and speak in our pocket, and we don't.
Okay.
I mean, did people not listen to 444 though?
Wait, hold on. I want to speak to what Rob just said. What you just spoke to also speaks to the ignorance of not knowing. So like when you don't know something and you have a platform, and then you're coming across and delivering it like it's facts, dangerous. So like you want to be well informed, but also you still want to have good conversation if you're not informed. So like I think what happened with this situation is he wasn't informed. He was speaking from a frustrated place. But the reason why I say that it changes things that he didn't, if he said no to the apology, is because to me it now comes off like he's trying to save face.
Let me just say this, bro. Robert Backlash is the CEO of Viacom currently right now, and that's a Jewish man. You're not gonna be on my platform disrespecting my religion.
And I don't want to.
So I could see the low. Not even Robert asking Nick to because I'm pretty sure they hit his radar, but I'm pretty sure the people around him didn't want that to get up there. So they asked Nick, yo, before this shit hit the fan, yo, just apologize. At that current time, Nick wanted to stand on his square because he was not yet knowledgeable of the shit, of the mistake he was about to. So
you get a lot of hard-headed people in these situations of power, like in these positions of power, where like with the Kevin Hart thing. I know, like Kevin Hart, for example, with the Oscars. Mm-hmm. They dug up his tweets and everything like that, and then they approached him and they said, yo, listen, just go apologize for this because it's blowing up, so we can disregard it and we can move forward and you can host the Oscars and everything be merry, right? So he refused, which I kind of have my way of feeling about that I won't go into because we're not talking about it, but he refused, but then he went on to apologize for it and go on an apology tour, you could say, of talking about it. And I questioned back then even, like, yo, he stood his square and was like, yo, no, I'm not apologizing. So what changed for him to be like, no, I apologize? And that's the same thing with this Nick Cannon situation now. Like, what changed for him to step forward and say, hey, no, I did my research, I did the education, and look, I have a rabbi on my show to kind of further educate me and take in my apology. Like, I don't know what changed.
I can tell you what changed, Reg. What changed between Nick Cannon and Kevin Hart is this thing that doesn't change. They had somebody to answer to, and their platforms may be big, but it still had to land somewhere.
Oh, you know what? Another thing to that probably is them realizing their power. Them realizing that people eat off of them. Because I've heard Kevin Hart say this before. Like Kevin Hart has talked about Dave Chappelle in the sense where it's like, yo, like I'm jealous of the freedom that Dave Chappelle has to just be himself all the time and just say crazy shit because we kind of expect it from him, and it works because you can't cancel Dave Chappelle. Like he's an anomaly. So like hearing somebody like Kevin Hart say like, well, I can't be as irresponsible as Chappelle because I'm kind of an empire. Like not even to toot my own shit, but like people eat off of me. People get checks off of me. I can't self-destruct. And I think that's where Nick is coming from now, where like that self-realization, because a lot of people do eat off Nick Cannon.
Okay. So that's where I think the change happened. And I also think it was happening so fast that they didn't give him, not saying that they should have given him more time, but I don't think he had time to process how big of a deal it was going to be. I don't think Nick realized that, because I'm pretty sure in his mind, he was like, I didn't say nothing about Jewish people. I didn't say fuck all Jews, kill all Jews, Hitler's right. But it probably had to be really expressed to him, and they had to be heavy-handed and like, all right, well, you're going to lose your job. And I also think because in the interview with Rabbi Cooper, he said, they told me they want to make an example of me, that I have to be an example. And I think as a man, when someone says something like that to you, you kind of, it is a trigger in you that automatically makes you not back down.
Rebellious.
Yeah, rebellious. So I think that, I think he should have just knew to apologize, because like even when he was talking in the interview with Professor Griff, he kept saying, I want to say this the right way. I don't want to offend anybody. Like he knew like, all right, this could be bad, but he knew something was on the horizon. It could be on the horizon or it could be controversial. So I just think for Nick, he realized like, yo, people that depend on me aren't going to be able to do things. Like you got to think about all of the people that come on Wild 'N Out that actually get opportunity, all the comedians, all of the artists that come on Wild 'N Out.
The women, to be honest with you.
Yeah, all of the gorgeous women that come on that show and get a platform, that get an opportunity to be seen on something. So I just think that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, where he had to like rethink it and be like, damn, do I really want to be known as a guy that had to tell people like, hey, you got to get on unemployment now, or because I can't pay you anymore? It's just one of those things where.
Yeah. But is that bad business, Taurian? Because I asked that because
it could be called.
I want to point out that the thing that makes me super proud about you guys and us as a collective is that we are independent, right? And being independent allows you to have your own freedom and to stand on your square, as LA always confidently says every week. So what happens is, because you don't have your own platform, and you have your own platform, but you don't have your own ownership, you can't do the due diligence to learn. You have to be an apologist, and you have to go on this apology tour. Because at the end of the day, Kevin Hart is somebody who was very big and he has an empire. And I consider those people planets. Like there's people around them that circle around them because they're that big. But at the end of the day, he has to go to HBO. He has to go to Netflix. He has to do this and that to promote whatever he's going to promote, because that's where they do these shows, right? Take, for instance, somebody like, and people might not agree with him or might not like him much, but take someone like Andrew Schultz, who pretty much doesn't have any backing whatsoever. I know he's white, and I know that he has white privilege, and I'm pretty sure he's aware of it too, but his jokes and his comedy is not conventional, but there's an audience for it. He catapulted his audience over $1 million in revenue to go to a brand, and they have to come and sit with him opposed to him sitting with them. And I think that we, as Black people, we constantly get in a position where we're like, okay, I don't want to upset anybody because I still may need somebody in the long run. Whereas white people do have the advantage of having fuck you money and be like, nah, fuck you. You're gonna come apologize. Yo, you said something? Yeah, but I really didn't. Nah, fuck you. You're gonna be an example. We don't have that privilege.
No, we don't. And I think
it's fucked up because Diddy kind of alluded to it, but that also goes to bad business practices because you went to them with an idea and you've been working on this show for God knows how long. You don't have any ownership in it. You don't have any say-so to it. You just let them strip it away from you. They took it from you. Something that you created, that you brought as a show writer. They took it with no hesitation. They took your identity, something that your brand that you worked for, because you said something out of ignorance. Although ignorance is bliss, and you may have not been in a position of knowing what you was going to say, but the fact that someone can take something from you and you don't have the ability to learn or grow is fucked up. That's what I have a problem with. That's what really bothers me because, to Taurian's point, white people say shit about black people all the time. We watched Drew Brees say some wild shit, and it was like, well, Drew Brees, he grew up in a southern state, and he just has a certain thing.
He said it
twice. It's like, hey, look, man, I was ignorant. Like, why is it that people are allowed to have that era of margin, and as a black man, I'm not allowed to have that era of margin? Why? Ever.
In this case, Go ahead, Tori, my fault.
It's the infrastructure of this country, unfortunately, and how those things go. But with Drew Brees, he said that he was against kneeling 4 years ago when Cap first did it. And then he said it again, and he repeated it, but this time, we're in a different day and age now. So a lot of people, spoke out, and then Drew Brees has apologized, and he's very much so been out and outspoken, I guess you want to call it ally to us at this time, because now he had no choice but to listen because we ain't having it no more. And, you had now the top quarterbacks in the league are African-American. So when they speak, the league has to listen because those are the faces of the league. So that's where the plus comes in, right? So I guess going forward now, we're just going to have to start doing the same things that other people, that other races and other religions do. And that's holding people accountable and making sure that they know that that's not going to be a thing. Same thing with Donald Sterling. When all those recordings came out, LeBron and Chris Paul said, Joe, we will, it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was a Christmas game, LA?
Mm-hmm.
With
Christmas was coming up, yep.
Yeah, and they said, yo, we're not going to play this game if he's still the owner of this team. And they told them that, right? And that they made it happen. That got shut down. So I just think it comes with us knowing the power and the strength that we have, and just really holding our ground.
But you see, I want to touch on that real quick. But the reason why this is a little bit different, no matter who it is, what it is, when it comes to religion, that's just not a sport anybody should play with.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
I don't care what religion it is. You take that, you jump out that window, understand that there's no parachute that's going to save you.
No, I agree. No, I was talking to Rob's thing, why don't we have that space? That's not a space that a white man would survive. Yeah.
Mel Gibson seems to be doing quite well.
He's not
right.
Studios.
Yeah, right.
Let's fix that. All right. So Mel Gibson is just filthy rich, so he funds his own movies. No studio is going to touch a Mel Gibson film with a stick. Now, the fact that he can fund his own movies and he still has an audience, you kind of can't stop that unless movie theaters and streaming platforms completely cut this man off. But he can film his own films. Somebody's going to watch it because some people just the guy from Lethal Weapon. So, and Braveheart. We can't control that. But Mel Gibson is not doing very well. It's just that he made a lot of money before all of that stuff happened. So that's a little different, Rob.
So then my last point is, you mentioned LeBron and Chris Paul saying yo, this man doesn't get fired, we're not playing. The NBA said, you know what? By a billionaire, which was rare. We never saw anything like that, right? And it shows the power of the athlete. which is a problem that I see right now with these guys wanting to play in this bubble, in this way. Like, you got the power to sit this season out and demand some things from these billionaire owners to bring change into the community. You literally tested your sword, saw how powerful it was, because the NBA did not want to lose a Christmas game. You know what I'm saying? So to go and sit and have public school lunch and play in a bubble, and you got to report your own teammates just to play a sport where I shout out to the players that's using the interviews to emphasize that Breonna Taylor murderers have not been arrested. That's cool and all, but I'm pretty sure if all of them say, yo, we not playing till Breonna Taylor murderers were arrested, everybody's making a phone call like, yo, what we gonna do about this? Because this is a lot of money involved.
Okay, yeah, I think that's true.
So it's like, yo, what Rob is saying is true, but it's like, yo, like, when you pick up that sword and realize you can swing this sword, do not put it back down. You know what I'm saying? Do not be okay with having Black Lives Matter on the back of your jersey. What the fuck is that gonna do? That's not sellable.
It's not the first time you've said this on here either.
You know what I'm saying? So if I know that it's kind of like the same thing that I was saying with the Push and Drake thing, not to get it off, but it's like, yo, if I know I could stop your record, I don't care if the verse wasn't that bad at all, I'm gonna stop it because I have the power to do so.
Right.
I'm flexing my muscle. So this muscle right here is, yo, listen to me. We not playing until change is coming. What can you do to help us get that change? I bet you all them owners. I've seen Mark Cuban go ahead, and Mark Cuban on Twitter is defending anything that goes with the black plight, which is cool. But if the Mavericks
hate him,
the
billionaires hate him.
The Mavericks say, if Luka say, you know what, I'm going back, I'm chilling, I'm not playing, so this, that, and the third happens, I bet you Mark Cuban gonna make something happen.
Every sport besides maybe baseball will follow suit.
Absolutely. Because today the NFL said they're allowing to put like names of the people who have been hurt on police brutality on the helmets. So what?
So what?
For the
Stop
NFL,
the season.
For the NFL,
we're not doing it. Yes.
It's a little bunch. I'm shocked the NFL even said that. So that's just letting you know that they're listening. So with that being said, if Patrick Mahomes, if Dak, if Russell Wilson, this is the first time that the black quarterback is the most dominant ever. Maybe if you name the top 10 quarterbacks, maybe 7 are black. If all of them say, yo, we not playing till Breonna Taylor, something happens. I promise you, that man ain't posting no more vacation pics. No more. It's too much. Play with their pockets, everybody listens. That's the whole thing that we were saying, going back to how we were thought with the Jews, they got all the money. Same thing with Nick Cannon. You not going to play with Viacom's money. I don't care what you've been doing. I don't care if you running Nickelodeon. I don't care if you got the most consistent show on my platform for the last 15 years. Don't play with my money, kid.
Right.
So the same thing with these players. You got this platform. You got this opportunity. Yo, listen. What you want? I'm still in my prime. I can win one more chip. You know what that's gonna do for y'all? Help us arrest the. Yeah, you make a phone call. Do something.
Figure it out.
I'm with LA. Nah, I'm with LA. No, it has to stop on all fronts. If it's gonna stop on all fronts.
I'm not shucking and jiving until I get justice, bro.
They just told these niggas to shut up and dribble. They got upset about it, but they want to play in Orlando, Florida, the epicenter of COVID, where they got to get tested 4 times a day, snitch on their mans for somebody not wearing a mask, to shut up and dribble?
To shut up and dribble.
Yeah. LA, you made very, very, very valid points. and I'm not even going to say but. It's just that a lot of these athletes live check to check.
No, I get it,
the
but
bargaining agreements coming up, and I'm not even shooting a bell. I'm just stating the facts. A lot.
But even that, with the bargain agreements, put something in the clauses. The same way we could say, yo, bargain agreement is coming up. You damn right it's coming up. Next time this shit happens, we want immediate action.
Hopefully that gets fixed.
Question: Do you think superstars can play a role in that by themselves interjecting? And that is like, yo, not only are we demanding this, but no, take care of the people of the league who had to suffer through this.
Of course, I think even now there's a retirement fund. Like finally,
during the last lockout, wasn't it Kobe handing out people loans left and right?
Yeah, exactly. So now they finally got a retirement plan. Like the NBA never had a 401k. I don't get that, but it's finally there. There's retirement fund. Their insurance still travels with them post retirement. That's cool and all, but even that is showing like the change is coming. So why drag your feet? The NBA is now a players' league. Literally, it's a players' league. The thought of them having a season during the lockout when they were saying, yo, we running pickup games, made them come back to the table. No. Y'all not running. Y'all not doing pickup games at the Rucker. Hell no. Rucker Park is not monetizing off of this. Dykeman is not getting this. LA is not getting this. What y'all need?
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They willing to listen, so talk.
All right. And let's just bring it back to the Nick Cannon situation and wrap it up. With the Nick Cannon situation, we all can agree, like, Nick had his faults, but I wish that he didn't lose the Viacom deal. I wish that it was something where, like, he, made an apology or try to bridge some gap and was able to get more done and not lose his platform. And it's really whack that pretty much now we know that he didn't even own something that he created. And I think for him, I feel like that was he got two lessons. One on humility and being sensitive to the words that he says, and also ownership. Because he on the podcast, that's what he was talking about, ownership. So it's funny that with that, he didn't have ownership of a platform. Like nobody else could do Wild 'N Out the way how he has it set up, because he, along with being a rapper and an artist, he's a comedian. So that's just like a skill set. Like it's hard. There are rappers who are funny, but I just think that the skill set that Nick has is a very unique skill set, right? So now,
yeah, but the reason why Nick is so special is because Nick is not as sensitive. There are times where Nick has been in the most heartbroken moments in his life, and his crew has made fun of him. Yeah. There's not a lot of people who could take that level of like.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Nick Cannon is the dude who was the nerd all through all school that you're kind of cool with, that you kept it cool with. And he goes on to be a fucking amazing, successful ass person. And he decides, hey, I'm going to hold people down from where I came from. It's literally who he is. And he embraces anything from comedians to the type of comedians, when he embraced Instagram comedians that nobody was paying attention to. When he goes to the stand-up comedy joints, the low-key spots that nobody pays attention to, the black comedians he went and got.
Look what he did for battle rappers, bro.
Battle rappers. And as we all know on this platform, I'm the battle rap guy. The shit he has done for battle rap.
Smack hasn't even done.
For every aspect of battle rap. Not just Smack, not just URL. He's bringing in the KOTD guys. He's bringing in, let's go cross seas and bring the Don't Flop guys. He's bringing in legitimate staples in battle rap culture, and not just the greats that he already has on there. Like
Conceited never has to battle again.
We don't need Conceited to battle again to keep it a buck.
Yeah, but still.
I think Nick is also just really good at at spotting online talent, like spotting the up and coming talent and giving them an even bigger platform.
What he's done for DC is amazing. It's crazy.
I remember there was a comedian in from Detroit that didn't really have a platform named Sparky at the time.
Yeah, Sparky be on there all the time still.
Yeah, he put him on Wild 'N Out, so like he really has a great eye for talent. I think this is just an unfortunate situation that's gonna be a teaching moment for a lot of people.
That just lets like everybody know, like, yo, bro, I love y'all show. I pump y'all show. No pause if necessary. But ownership is key, man. Like, and I was having a conversation just yesterday because Gilly had made these allegations that Joe don't own his show. Yeah. And the thought of Joe not owning his show would literally shock the shit out of me. But, you know, if anybody knows, you can look up trademarks. Joe owns his show. So Gilly...
Of course he did.
Gilly... But, like I said, that's an allegation that's going to make you do your research. So earlier today, we were talking about people talking passionately, but not knowing what the hell they're talking about. And sometimes when you speak with passion, it sounds like you know what you're talking about. So it just made me actually look up, like, yo, does Joe own, like, I had to look in the trademark book and see all his trademarks. Joe has 4. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, ownership is important for all of us. Jamesy, even down to you as a DJ, you know, you can trademark your DJ name. You could trademark your sound. You could copyright your play set in a sense, you know? Rob, you got sneaker content. You can trademark that and understand there are levels to trademarks. Just because you trademark your name doesn't mean you have the trademark to your clothing. So you can trademark your name and I can still sell your merch. I can still sell merch with your name on it because you do not own the trademark to your merch. So there's different levels. Same thing with First Class. Y'all sell hats, y'all sell pins. The hat is right there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all may have trademarked First Class breakfast, especially the spelling, but I can get off and sell the merch if y'all don't have that trademark under the name as well. So there's so much things in ownership that we don't know, that once one of us do know, is important that we share that information. And it's a lot of like, yo, I figured it out, I'm going to hold on to it. No, if I know something, I'll let y'all know. Say, Taurian can attest to that. I hate every time I figure out something new, yo, Taurian, check this out, use this, download this. Same thing. Like, the selfishness with knowledge has to stop. Like, we have to share it with everybody because I don't want to see this. No matter the crazy takes that Rob says on this show, I don't want to see that nigga get jerked. You know what I'm saying? He works hard for his content. He's worked hard to get this far. I would not want to see him go out there and get jerked on a deal like this. Owning your intellectual property goes way further than your public knowledge or the public knowledge of First Class Breakfast. So if we see another show called First Class Breakfast, the most we gonna say, oh, them niggas is stealing y'all shit. Nah, there's a lot y'all can do with just saying, y'all don't even gotta hit. Y'all don't even gotta respond. Cease and desist real quick. But that's knowing the business. Wildin' Out, what we said earlier, Wildin' Out was like, 15 years old? There may be a slight chance that Nick ain't know all of this shit 15 years ago. Maybe that's just something. And then if I strike gold on business, we talk contracts all the time. Why would I give you this shit back? So everything else going forward, Nick may have ownership of, but the biggest thing as far as Wildin' Out, he may not get taps on. But you know what? I may not give you Wildin' Out back, but yo, run Nickelodeon for me. You know what I'm saying? There may be trade-offs in these contracts that we're not aware about, but I'm saying the reason, I get it. Nick not owning Wildin' Out is a huge disappointment, but we got to think about 15 years ago, he may have, like what we were saying about the rappers earlier, not going indie and things of that. You may want the bag, you may want the opportunity. That may have just been an opportunity that he sacrificed his ownership over, but going forward, as he got the knowledge, he's not sacrificing his ownership anymore. So
you guys don't think Nick could really literally take all that talent right there from it in one shot? And
he could probably do it over, but it won't be wilding out. It won't be It won't be on Viacom.
Yeah, I don't need to be. I think he could, and that's what I think he's even more. Let's say a HBO, let's say a premium channel picks them up, right? Mm-hmm. Or let's say a DSP picks them up where they don't have to have a filter. Do you know the amazingness that will come from that?
Oh, for sure.
Literally goes to these guys, and Nick has the money to do it. It's like, I'm gonna take the short end for a year. Have I not given you this much bread? Have I not fed you guys this? Let's go through the trenches real quick and let's come out victorious. Because I think with that cast, even if it's not that same format, I think if they try and go deliver a comedy show, especially one with no hold bar, how can they fail?
No, I agree, but I just think like the overall, it sucks that in 15 years I gotta start all over. You know, the opportunity is still grand, but look at all that I've built. You know, there is a certain marketing tool, like literally Viacom can block out MTV for 12 hours straight and make sure Nick Cannon get his shit off for 12 hours.
Here's the man.
LA,
that man's jersey deserves to be on the rafters for another reason.
But for sure. I agree, though.
LA, I'm gonna leave
enough for that alone, that man has a creativity in him that is and I've found it corny. I'm a 80s baby, 90s raised me. I grew up understanding who Nick Cannon was and when he first showed up on all that. There's a corniness to him. We don't want to say it. We all support Nick Cannon because Nick Cannon has done a lot. He's done a lot, but Nick Cannon has a corniness to him that he'll.
But the corniness is creativity, and as any creative, and if you can create something, you can create it again. I'm not worried about Nick Cannon recreating. He's going to create. That is what it is. He is a creative in every sense of the word.
The fact he respects his corn, the fact he respects the angle of he has a corn, like even when he did The Real Husbands, he used to fucking address it himself that he understood he had this slight corn.
What's the movie he did with Christina Milian?
Love Don't Cost.
Oh my God.
No,
Love Don't Cost a Thing.
Love Don't Cost a Thing.
Yeah.
That was his biopic. He literally is living out that whole movie, bro. So instead of him being a nerd or whatever, his nerdiness is his creativeness. Like, he's a genius, you know what I'm saying? But he still has that corny element to him.
Yeah, I think the
but
thing
that's
that
okay,
separated him,
that's something we just have as where we come from. To be honest,
I think that's what
the
what separated him from
where we're from.
I think what separated him from everybody else was the fact that he was corny, or is corny, or whatever you want to say, but he's so self-aware that it plays to his advantage, and he uses it to write material, and he uses it to be creative. So, like Rob said, I don't think he's going to have an issue bouncing back. We might see him come back on like Netflix or, one of these other streaming platforms. So he's going to be good money.
So with that being said, guys, I want to wrap things up. I want to thank all of our guests that came on tonight. My name is Taurian B.
My name is First Class Regg.
And we will catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching.